So in this video, I wanted to share how I'm preparing for my upcoming trip to Europe as a late 40s solo traveler for the first time that does struggle with overwhelm and anxiety. And hopefully there's something in this video that will help you if you are also wanting to travel and are struggling just to take that first step. Hi there, my name's Mariana. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. So by way of backstory, my last overseas trip was 8 years ago, I worked out, and that was actually for work. So basically, I didn't have to organize anything. Everything was organized for me. I was traveling as part of a team. Prior to that was 14 years ago when I traveled with my then husband to the US for 4 weeks. So this is the first time that I am traveling to countries that I'm not familiar with, and I'm doing it completely solo as a homebody introvert that does struggle with anxiety and overwhelm. It's really a big deal for me. I'm completely stepping out of my comfort zone. But the fact of the matter is, it has been on my vision board for years to do a trip to Europe. My ex-husband and I had actually arranged to go to Europe a few years ago, and then COVID hit and we had to cancel all our plans, and it's just sat there on my vision board. But I desperately want to travel, want to expand my horizons. I want to see the world, and to do that, I need to step out of my comfort zone. It's now or never. I am 46 years of age. I don't really want to travel with anyone at this stage in my life. There are things that I just prefer to do on my own. So this is it. This is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it in 3 months' time. So the first thing I did was sit down and establish where I wanted to go and how long I had to go, taking into consideration work and when I could go, because there are only certain times of the year that I am able to take an extended amount of leave. So I had to factor all that in. So once I had worked out a couple of the countries in Europe that I wanted to visit, I basically just sat down and thought, how much am I going to need to fund my holiday and to do it comfortably and without any financial stress? And once I had settled on a figure, basically what I did was I opened up a UBank account, which is a high interest savings account, opened up side accounts and nicknamed it Europe 2025. And then I put in my target amount that I wanted to meet. And basically UBank worked it all out for me, how much I would need to save per month. And you can break it down however you like. You can do it weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, which is how I get paid. So that was the best option for me. And it basically reverse engineered it and told me what I would need to save every month to meet the goal that I had set for myself. The next thing I did was decide that I wanted to utilize the services of a travel agent. Now, I know everyone says it's easier and cheaper to do it on your own. Everything is available online now, and I do agree with that. However, as somebody that does struggle with anxiety and overwhelm, particularly when it comes to travel, it just made sense for me to use the services of a travel agent. So this isn't sponsored by any means. I just use the services of Holiday Travel. She's a lady based here in Adelaide. I actually arranged our US trip with her 14 years ago, and that went seamlessly. It was a great holiday. She had great suggestions and gave really good recommendations of what to do while we were there. I could then contact her if I had any issues, which I didn't. She was just excellent. My parents also have used her quite a few times in the past. My ex and I had also were using her until everything got cancelled during COVID. And again, because I had utilized the services of a travel agent, it was just really easy to get all my money back. So yeah, highly recommend Holiday Travel. She is absolutely brilliant. What I did was I basically emailed her and told her I wanted to go to Europe. And then I made an appointment, and luckily she lives close by to me. I made an appointment and I could actually go and see her and sit down and discuss my requirements. So when I got there, I basically had an indication of where I wanted to go and the things I wanted to see and what I wanted to do. So once that had been established, I gave her my dates. We sat down and we booked my flights for me. We also booked my seat allocation there and then. And I also had the option of adding in lounge access while I am in Doha, because there's like a 3.5 hour stopover each way. So I decided to spend the extra money and take the lounge access. That way I could shower and change. It would leave me feeling more refreshed for the next leg of the journey. And the biggest thing for me as well was it means that I can find somewhere quiet in the lounge to sit. And as an introvert, it just gives me a few minutes to really decompress far from the maddening crowds. And if you're a fellow introvert, you know what I mean. Like, you just need a little bit of time to recharge your battery basically and re-energize. So I think it cost me an extra $250. To me, it was well worth it. Now, I did have the option as well of upgrading myself to business class. I had saved enough money to do so, but then I stopped and thought, what's better? Spending the money on flying business class to say that I've flown business class, and yes, it would be more comfortable, or could I better utilize that money towards my holidays? So that was the option I took. I'm going to fly economy. I'm happy to do so because it means I've got more money to spend on accommodation, on meals, spending money, and tours, etc., and all that good stuff. So once that was all done, Holly worked out a bit of a schedule for me. So basically, I will arrive in London where I'm staying for a few days. I've got family there who I'm staying with. And then she could work out where I was going for the remainder of my holiday and also work out any accommodation. And the good thing is, once she'd worked out my accommodation, she did send me a draft itinerary with a few different options on accommodation. I refuse to stay in a hostel. I'm too damn old for that. So I do want to stay in nice hotels. They aren't, like luxury hotels or anything, but my requirements are that they're clean. And the good thing is, because she has traveled so extensively and knowing that I am traveling on my own, she picked hotels in safe areas that I could get to all the sites that I wanted to go to, everywhere I wanted to visit really easily, and I could do it all on foot. So that was a big plus for me because she has got so much experience with travel. Well, you'd hope so, as a travel agent, that she could really work out a good schedule for me based on what I wanted. So once she had sent me the accommodation options, I was able to then get online and I could choose what I wanted based on, for me, cleanliness is really important. So I got on and checked all the reviews, and then I chose my hotel in each destination. So for me, I just found it easier to utilize the services of a travel agent and clearly a professional. And I've been able to ask a lot of questions along the way. So she gave me a lot of different options, because if it were up to me, I probably, landing in the UK, I would have only visited areas that I could get to by train, like Amsterdam and Paris, and just left it at that. But I really wanted to go to Rome and I really wanted to go to Milan as well. But when I tried to get online to have a look at the different options, I just got completely overwhelmed and couldn't make a decision. So basically, she helped me to make those decisions in a really, really easy way. And I'm so happy, like, honestly. So now I'm going to quite a few different places. I am going to Amsterdam, I am going to Milan, I'm going to Rome, I'm going to La Spezia, I'm going to Lake Como, I'm going to Ghent, I'm going to Brussels, I'm going to Paris. So all those different things that I never would have done if I hadn't been and seen her and spoken to her about exactly what I wanted to do, because I really, really wanted to see the Last Supper in Milan. But if I'd been left to my own devices, I wouldn't have done it. Honestly, I just would have, yeah. So if you're anything like me, I highly recommend getting in touch with a really good travel agent and speaking to them exactly about what it is that you want to see. And if they're anything like Holly, they will make that a possibility for you. So highly recommend. And the other good thing for me, sitting down with someone and really establishing a good schedule and where to do everything is so helpful for me, because I know what I'm like. If I don't have any structure and know where I'm going each day and what I'm doing, I will simply just wander around aimlessly because I won't be able to make a decision. I'll be so overwhelmed and anxious, and then I'll get upset with myself, and it will ruin my holiday. So by booking things in now, getting all this stuff done and writing down and blocking out my calendar for what I'm doing and when is really helping me in alleviating some of that anxiety and stress. And when you're traveling alone, like, it's going to be, I think, stressful enough without adding other things into the mix. And the good thing, I don't know if all travel agents do this, I'm assuming that they do, is I was able to download an app and all my trip information goes there. So I can see everything, where I'm meant to be at any given time. I've also put it into my calendar and blocked out all the times, what time I need to leave, travel times, all those sorts of things. So it just helps me to keep track. The other thing that I'll need to organize as well to make sure I can access that app is an eSIM, which I don't think they were around last time I traveled overseas. So that makes it quite a bit easier. I can just download that straight onto my phone and it's available to me as soon as I get to the UK. There are different options which I'm currently looking at, and I'll share those in a later video as well. Hi there, future Mariana here. So I realized as I was editing this video that I didn't quite spend enough time on a particular subject. After being out today, it kept playing on my mind. So I thought that I would add this in here and then we'll get back on to the rest of the video. So that particular subject was the subject of travel insurance. So as soon as I got home from the travel agent, given that I already paid for my tickets for my flights, then I thought I should take out travel insurance straight away. Now, I chose not to go with the recommended provider that the travel agent recommended. I had already done quite a bit of research on the topic. Now, I know a lot of people do opt to use the travel insurance that comes with their credit card. Just keeping in mind that that will only apply if you've purchased your tickets on that particular credit card. I had been through the reviews of different insurance companies, the ones that came with my credit card, and wasn't particularly happy with the reviews that I read, also with the limits and exclusions that applied to the policy. So I highly recommend that if you're looking at traveling, really look at the travel insurance provider on your credit card. If you elect to go with the one from the travel agent, also have a look at the T's and C's on the policy disclosure statement. I always like to check who the insurance is underwritten by. If you're applying through your credit card or relying on your credit card for travel insurance, it's generally not the credit card provider that's underwriting the insurance, it's a third-party company. So really check that out. Once I chose my preferred travel insurer, I got in touch with a local broker that I trust so they could start processing my information and then refer me to the insurer of my choice. And I did that because they also get a little bit of a kickback for referring someone. So I try to support small business where I can. The broker that I use is a family-owned business, so I do like to support them and I also trust them. I elected to go with, and this isn't sponsored, I elected to go with Passport Card. Their limits on the policy were actually really good. As far as luggage went, and in particular electrical items, I could nominate and pay an additional premium for a higher amount. So if I lose my phone or my camera or it gets stolen or something like that, I do have higher limits that apply. Really have a look at the limits that apply to the policy that you're provided, because if you get stranded overseas for whatever reason, if you lose your luggage, what are the limits that apply? What are they going to give you to help you get through the remainder of your holiday? If you end up in hospital, how many days will they cover your stay in hospital? If you get stranded somewhere and you have to pay additional accommodation, how much will they cover you per day and for how many days will they cover you? Do they have 24/7 claim service? I like Passport Card because they do have an Australian-based call centre, which for me was really important. I also was given a direct debit card, so in the event that a claim is approved, they load up the card straight away, and then I can use the funds on that card to pay for whatever it is that I need to pay for. So really have a look at the T's and C's on the policy before you commit to anything. I know travel insurance is expensive, but it's a lot cheaper in the long run if something does happen. If you're injured overseas and have to pay additional money to get back to your home country, how much is that insurer going to cover you for? If you have your handbag stolen and you've got money in there, will your travel insurer cover that? I'm going to Paris, which is notorious for pickpockets and stuff. What is your insurance provider going to cover you for? Take all of those things into consideration. Now, the other reason I like Passport Card was because of the really good reviews and the good claim service that the reviews commented on. So they are also award winning. So they won the 2024 CanStar Award. They also won the 2025 Mozo Award for their market leading insurance cover. I highly will recommend them. I haven't had a claim, but based on what I've read and the people that I've spoken to about it, because I do know quite a few people in the insurance industry, this one comes really, really highly recommended. Again, not sponsored, but I've done my research. So I always encourage you to do your own research when it comes to insurance cover. It is expensive. All insurance at the moment is expensive. So you really need to know what it is that you're paying for. And I know that for me, it cost me $650 for 4 weeks, and all you get basically is this and a product disclosure statement. It's a lot of money to pay for a piece of paper, but it's not a lot of money to pay for peace of mind when you do have a good insurance policy. Anyway, let's get back to the remainder of this video. So the next thing that I had to apply for, which is a new thing, I think it was introduced last year, was an ETA, which is an electronic travel authorization. So the travel agent sent me the link and I downloaded the app onto my phone and I applied through there. It only took me 5 minutes or so to apply. It cost me £10 because I'm going to the UK. It says that it takes up to 3 working days to get approved. I had mine in less than half an hour, which was great. Now, a word to the wise. My manager recently has traveled to the UK. She had to apply for her ETA as well and just Googled it and applied and paid for it. And then she said to me, how come yours only costs £10 and mine costs 70? And I said to her, because you didn't go through the app and it was probably a scam. She was adamant that it wasn't, but she called her bank just in case, and it turned out it was a scam. So she got ripped off £70. So she had to raise a dispute through her credit card provider. So use the app for the ETA. Don't just Google it, because apparently the bank told her that a lot of these scams are running off the back of this ETA. So anyway, I did that. It's valid for 2 years. It applies, I think, even to children. So if you're traveling with children, you need to also apply for them. So basically, to apply, all you need is your passport, a picture, which is on your passport anyway, and then also you will need your credit card details to pay for it. And basically that's it. It's nice and easy. If you get a new passport, then you have to reapply for the ETA. So if you're looking to travel and you don't have a valid passport and you're looking to get a new one, do that first before you apply for your ETA. Otherwise, you're going to have to reapply once you get your new passport. So another thing to consider when booking your accommodation is that most countries now do charge a city and local tax rate. And based on the itinerary that I got once I had booked all the accommodation, is that different hotels, depending on what country they're in, will charge you different amounts. Some will say it's 12.5% over the duration of your stay, and others range from about €3 to €4.50 per night. Some of my hotels did already deduct it as part of my accommodation fee, but some of them will charge you on arrival at your accommodation. So that's another thing that needs to be factored in. If you're traveling with children, I believe if they're under 18, you don't have to pay the additional tax for them. But if it's 2 adults and 2 kids, you need to pay for the 2 adults. So I had to pay as a single. I think most of the hotels were €4 a night, in addition to what I'd already paid for the accommodation. So now that that's all done, all the important stuff, how to get there and where you're going to sleep, I have started to book in the things that I wanted to do. So the travel agent is doing some stuff for me and some stuff that I have to do for myself. I know that in Amsterdam, I want to take a canal cruise. I don't actually have to book that. They run all day, so I just walk up basically and just hop on one of the cruises there, ships, boats, whatever, and then I can do my canal cruise in Amsterdam. I also want to go through Anne Frank's house. I'm really excited about that one actually. So I know they don't release tickets more than 6 weeks in advance. They release tickets on a Tuesday at 7:30 Australia time. So I have diarised that. So on that first Tuesday that it's released, I can book, because apparently they book out really quickly for those tickets. I've also diarised to book the Last Supper in Milan. Again, that's 6 weeks prior. So I've diarised that. So as a reminder, so I can get online straight away and book that. I have already booked my tickets on a 1.5 hour tour to the cathedral in Milan. And I opted to do a tour so I can get a little bit of the history of the cathedral as well. And I get to take the lift up and the stairs down, because it's 250 stairs. To go up 250 stairs with my knees the way they are, I just thought it was better to take a tour that had the lift as well. And that worked out to about 60 Australian dollars. It's an hour and a half, so for me it's well worth it. You get your little headset and everything, so you can listen to stuff. You get a designated tour guide, which is fantastic. I'm also looking to do a tour in Rome. I'm just waiting for the travel agent to get back to me about the options that I have. I also want to do a night tour in Paris. That way I can see the city in the evening in the safety of a group, as opposed to venturing out just on my own at night time, because I'm in a country that I haven't really visited before, or in a city that I'm not familiar with. So I thought that it would be better to do an evening tour as opposed to wandering around at night on my own. I'm also getting the travel agent to book a dinner and a show for me at Moulin Rouge. So basically I did ask her about the safety of getting there and back from the hotel. In case you haven't noticed, safety is a big thing for me. And basically from the hotel, I can catch the boat to the Moulin Rouge and then hop in a boat and then go back to the hotel when the show has ended. And in Paris, I've also booked the couture show at the Louvre. So as soon as those tickets were available, I was on there and I was booking. And I think that the Australian conversion worked out to about $50 as well. And that's the entire gallery. The couture show is in their permanent area, so the ticket includes that. So I'm really happy with that one. Again, I'm going to do a canal cruise in Paris. I don't have to book that. I can just walk up and it's as simple as that. Hop on a cruise and go. I'm also looking to do Monet's Garden in Versailles. So I'm just waiting to see the best options to do that. And I know that, and this is the good thing about going through the travel agent. So I had initially planned to get on the train from the UK straight to Paris and then spend my few days there and then go on to Amsterdam and then back to the UK. But she did say to me, based on the dates that I'm going, it's better to do Paris on the way back, because that's when they have their sales. Now, my understanding is Paris only have sales twice a year. I think one's in January, so it will be like the post-Christmas sales, and then at the end of June. So I'm going to be there at just the right time for the sales. And apparently the sales in Paris are absolutely fantastic. So I'm so excited about that. I'll get to go to Galeries Lafayette as well, which I can't wait to see. And yeah, based on the things that I have been watching, asking questions about. I'm not one to do a lot of touristy things. I know that a lot of the things on my itinerary are touristy, but if you're traveling to those countries, they're the things that you generally want to see. I've also elected to spend a couple of extra days here and there in countries or cities that I really want to be in and explore further. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up. I think that's all I want to say for today. So if you'd like me to share more videos on my continuous progression to my European trip as a solo traveler in her late 40s, please drop me a comment and let me know, because I haven't traveled for such a long time. I've had to make a few additional purchases, which I'm happy to unbox here with you. I can show you my little haul of the different things that I'm getting, things that I can share, things that are on my wish list, where I've chosen to spend money and where I've chosen to save money. The only reason I'm buying this stuff, some of this stuff, is because I don't actually have it. And I think it's really a requirement if you're traveling. I have been devouring videos on YouTube on travel essentials. And of course, I'm not buying every single thing that is a travel essential, because, you'd be going over with a suitcase that weighed, 50 kilos. I'm just choosing the things that I think I will personally need to make my holiday and also a long haul flight really comfortable. So if you would like me to share more details about that, please leave me a comment. If you've got any tips for traveling solo in your late 40s that you're happy to share, please also leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure others would love to hear from you as well. So anyway, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, as it does help to push my videos out to more amazing people like yourselves. And until the next one, I hope you all have a fabulous day. Bye.